am I the a-hole for telling my brother-in-law to F off after he called my son a girl for being in therapy? That's quite the hot take. Okay, that's quite the um jerk like attitude. Okay. So this has a verdict of not the a-hole, and it was only posted 20 hours ago. So that's good. Good job, dude. You had a very good take of not being the a-hole. But anyways, my son is 15 years old, has been in therapy for a few months after his friend passed away. I, while I've always been there to help him, my wife and I felt that having a therapist would be best. He's been making a lot of progress, so I know that it works. Unfortunately, my brother-in-law is a man shouldn't have expressions kind of guy. Toxic masculinity. He has toxic masculinity. You can say that. I've always thought that I always thought that that was BS, so I made sure my wife and I were on the same page after not letting that happen. That happened. Ugh. Last night there was a family gathering. My son had just had his therapy session, so he picked them up and drove them there. While we while we got there, when we got there, my son was telling, while we there, please fix your grammar, reread your thing before you post it. While we were there, my son was telling me about something they talked about, and my brother in law must have overheard because he started on a tangent about boys not needing therapy and calling him a girl. So, to express your feelings is feminine like? So you're telling me you've never told your. So, how did you get married, dude? If you have a girlfriend, you must have told her, I love you. I love you. You must have told somebody that you like them. You must have told your bro that, hey, I like you, dude. We're bros. But that's an expression of emotions, right? So aren't you being a girl for like, hey, let's make friends? Yo, my buddy. Again, that's ridiculous. I probably wouldn't have reacted as much if my son hadn't been there, but my son was visibly hurt. I was pissed off and told him to screw off, and that right now my son is more of a man than he is. Because again, like if you bottle up that emotion, there's no, just like milk, it'll sour. You just like bottling up your emotions, just like an apple, if you bottle it up for a long time, if you don't eat it or if you don't deal with it, it will be rotten on the inside, and and something else would happen. So again, that's terrible. Um, I would have liked I would like to have said more, but I didn't want to upset my son further. I admit that I might have gotten a little too far, but I was defending my son. But I don't think someone who shames someone else for being I don't think someone who shames someone else for being healthy while also being sexist is being a man. So it's yeah, it's definitely poor form to like belittle someone's experience, and if someone needs help, then they need help. Are you going to be a man for not going to the doctor when you're injured? No. Are you going to belittle a guy who is looking for counsel? No. Excuse me. My brother in law just glared at me and stormed out of the house. My wife told me that we were leaving, so I got my son and we left. He didn't say much for the rest of the night, but my wife sure did. She was mad at me for doing that, saying that I disrespected her brother. Your brother disrespected your son, so why are you being the one upset? Jeez. I tried to explain that I was just defending my son, but she wouldn't take it, so is ignoring me. I'm still mad about this. My son was shamed for expressing his emotions, then everyone got mad at me for defending him. But all their reactions are making me second guess myself. You're not the a-hole. So again, this post, certified. This guy is certified to be not an a-hole. But it's so confusing on where did this all start, because he did not deserve to be like treated that way. The fact that this poster is defending his son for needing to get help, you you are quite you are disappointing if you think that someone else going for help is a sign of weakness. If you think that someone trying to express himself and trying to find a safe space is you're quite low tier, man. You're F tier. Excuse me, sorry. But the fact that his wife was defending her brother for defending her jerk, her like sigma, her like F tier brother. That's so confusing. That's so concerning. We already have a verdict that he's not the a hole for defending their son, who's going through therapy. Jeez. So let's go through a couple. Let's go through a couple comments because you know how I feel about this, and you already know how. Sorry, you already know how like the Reddit feels about this. But again, like the fact that there's got to be conversation to be had when his wife is defending her brother, who is not being, who's expressing poor form to his nephew. Like, excuse me, there's not a lot to talk about because this guy is being terrible. So let's see what we can look at from the comments. Because the comments gotta be very good, right? You're not the a-hole. Your brother-in-law disrespected your child, who is going through something incredibly difficult at a young age. You did your job, and yeah, he did his job because no one is ever really equipped for when somebody passes away. I, when my grandfather passed away back in 2012, I was there for my dad along with the rest of the family. My mom had some respects by coming down to California with us to like be there for my dad. And honestly, my dad was a man of few words because he never really talked about how he felt, but he did have a few words when he was complaining about what other people were doing. Like there are some things that my mom has done. There's some things that my neighbor has done, and he said his piece, but he didn't. He's not reacting because he's he's not being he's not being very reactive, and if you're reactive to a situation, you may not get the whole picture. So my dad is taking a step back to always do things. But even till now, it's been almost like 10 years since my grandfather passed, and I'm sure my dad misses him a lot, and a lot of the family do. We make sure we make sure to go visit his mom. My grandmother is starting to show signs of dementia, starting to show signs of like a difficult time to eat. She's having a hard time to do things, and so I'm scared for my dad honestly because I don't know what he's gonna do when he experiences his mom passing away because he visits the family as often as he can by flying down like every year, but I'm even in contention too. Like I don't know if I have enough money saved. I'm doing my best to save money for moving place, moving somewhere, and I'm trying to make sure my budget allows me to go to California next year to see my grandmother, to be with my dad, and if I can't, then my dad understands, but he's never actually been equipped to tell me how he actually is feeling. Because I'm sure he's feeling these things, but everything that I believe about how he's feeling is always conjecture, always assumed, because he's not equipped to express those emotions. And I understand that. Not everyone is going through someone passing away is incredibly difficult. He needs to point out to his wife that his brother was actually attacking and hurting their son. There is a big problem with this marriage if the wife, because it's kind of funny, because during this entire conversation, his wife and him both came together and believed that the therapy was helping her son. But the fact that she is now defending her brother for being in poor form is also a problem. That's a red flag. I just we just hope that it doesn't silently agree with the brother. I believe too. Wife would reject therapy in a heartbeat because she is always right, and the feelings of her brother are more important than her son's. Because again, like the fact that they had a conversation together before putting him through therapy shows that she believes in therapy. But the fact that, but it's a problem if she silently believes in her brother. Just like, again, it's really bad. What else? She absolutely agreed with her brother on some level, or she would not have defended her son. Two, Poster needs to ask his wife why she's okay with her brother bullying her son. Like it's really confusing again. Like it's still drawing onto the idea that, hey, your brother did something weird, honey, but you're not saying anything about it. That's a little suspect, which is really weird. Yeah, it's pretty suspect that you're not like responding to the fact that your brother is being a jerk to your son. So it's really tough to say. It's not bullying. Okay, what's going on here? It's not bullying when it's done by an adult. Harassment, it's called harassment and abuse. Grown men, a grown man was harassing and verbally abusing a kid for needing help processing the fact that his best friend passed away. Poster's wife was more upset about Poster shutting down a man harassing and abusing her son than she was about her son being harassed by her brother. It's really concerning. This family needs some therapy. His son's having some therapy, so do you want to join on this too? This was a very like good post. It's not great that the kid's going through this, but this is a good post because it shows that good dads are out there. This dad is defending his son, and that's important because he needs someone who's like on his side and believes like that his emotions are real. The fact that his dad believes that the therapy is working, yeah, because it's working. There's a lot of progress. So the question becomes, does the wife need therapy? Because if the wife does not believe that the therapy is working, then there's got to be a problem right now because I don't know why the wife wouldn't believe that this would be not helping her son because it's so crazy. It's just so crazy to believe that she thinks everything's okay. So I don't know. I don't know why. Sorry, I'm editing as we're doing this. I don't know why she feels the need to express that her brother is right because her brother is not right. But also, uh, I can't be the only one to give my opinion. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know on YouTube, Twitter. I don't care where you talk to me. Let me know your thoughts about this because, again, Reddit and I have decided already that this guy is not the a-hole for picking the side of his son. So, like, let me know in the comments. Thank you. Have a good day. This guy's a jerk.